vote to change that too? Okay, I definitely agree with that. That's pretty Norwich Park, which is not listed on the agenda. Who currently is the?
Just to be clear, it says any other committees the board may need. So Sam is putting that under number 10. That's on the agenda.
Norwich Park District.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
Currently on that one was myself and Warner DeJulio.
Okay, Tim, would you like to stay on that?
Yes.
Okay, so Tim, does anybody else want to be on that committee?
I'll go on with them.
Lou, is your hand up?
Renzo.
And Renzo? Frank and Mike? So this is for the Norwich Park Committee. Yes, is your hand up, Frank?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll stay consistent. If you'd like to see Renzo on that committee, I want to see your hand, please. So myself, Renzo, Louis. Are you in the middle there, Frank? Okay, so Renzo has 3 on that one. Lou Mazzano. So we have Renzo, Lou, Tim, myself, and Frank and Mike. So that's 6.
That was the other one.
You had that up?
Yes.
I'm
No,
sorry,
I had
I'm trying to-
I had my name up for
Oh,
myself
so
to be on the
so did
committee.
Tim.
Yes.
So Louis had 6 votes. How many did Renzo have?
2 or 3.
3. Thank you. Thanks,
Yeah,
Alan.
your hand up.
Tim Ludston also wants to be part of that. Show of hands for Tim. Okay, so 4. Pasquale. Show of hands for Pasquale. Okay, Renzo, Louis, Pasquale, Frank, and Mike. So that is a 5. So we'll have Lou Mazzano and Pasquale on the Norwich Park Committee. So that I believe takes care of the committees and the appointments to them.
Yep. You wrote it all down?
Yeah, I got it. I got it. 14 action items. A is motion to approve hiring of the Illinois Association of School Boards, IASB, for a superintendent search.
I make the motion.
I'll second the motion.
You say discussion.
Discussion.
I like discussion.
So, for those of you that were not here or have attended our ad hoc committee meeting, Sam, myself, and Tim did call out the representative from the IASB to present to us the whole process of what it takes to hire a superintendent and what that process is. So, Sam, you still have your booklet?
Yes, I have it.
Okay. So, if we can give this to Lou and Renzo. And Mike?
So just to give an update, what the committee has talked about is option A and option B in our current situation. We agreed that there needed to be a plan B. Time is getting slim. And during discussing when the committee first started, we looked at options of ISB, which the district has used before, as well as a couple different outside firms. Using the IASB is almost half the price of the other firms. It's been used before. They are set up. They can assist us, whether it's a shared superintendent we've been talking about or going into a pool and even interviewing or anything else. They can assist with that. We've also talked about involving stakeholders such as the Teachers Association, PTA, PTO, and the ISB also has surveys ready to go for that. They could be sent out immediately to have those people be part of this, as well as this would be signing to look for the full-time superintendent that would be the following year, and this is all wrapped into one. There's no additional fee. So even if it was just for the survey now to get the input for our current hire, there is no additional fee for using them later. It's all through the entire process. So it's very, very strongly urged right now in our situation to have as much help, as much backing to get this survey to the stakeholders so we know what they want to see in the school, changes that need to be made to progress forward. We do need some help with this. The superintendent must be hired by July 1st.
It's open for discussion.
Hold on. Mike, did you make the
Yeah,
second
everybody.
motion? Okay, so one thing we all need to study is Robert's rule of, and how, when we go into the motions, when we can openly discuss it. And right now we're in the discussion mode, so we can continue the discussion, and then once we're done with that, we go right into a vote. Okay, so go ahead, Sam.
Go ahead. Have you done it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was able to attend a lot of these meetings, and I don't know, but financially, sharing with superintendents with Ridgewood High School seems to be the best way to save money at this point. Now, for some odd reason, if we're not able to pull this off, Ms. Palmer has offered to step in as superintendent until we find said superintendent. And at that point, we could spend the money to do this search. In my mind, seems like a more cost-efficient way of doing business. Now, if I'm missing something, sure, I would like to hear it, but at this point, I would like to strongly go after the idea of sharing superintendents with Ridgewood High School and saving our District 80 a lot of money.
Mike, you have something? So
Just to add in, before you go, just to add in that this was discussed in the meeting with the committee, and option A is sharing the superintendent. We have 2 months. If the attorneys cannot come to agreement, we are defaulted. If we do not find a backup plan, we break the law. We do not have a superintendent. This is a plan B. It's not a massive amount of money. Just to reiterate, we are looking at a pool of $220,000 is what we have for the hiring of a superintendent. For any searches, this all comes out of the pool. So option A, yes, working on sharing the superintendent, which is going to save us a lot of money in salaries. But we need an option B. If the lawyers do not agree, we cannot be left with 2 weeks to sign a superintendent. We need help with this.
So I just want to add my piece to it. I've been a part of the ad hoc committee. We've had 4 meetings, I believe. 3. We had 3 meetings. Yes, the option A was to potentially try to share a superintendent with a local district. I was under the impression that we did have an option B. The option B, in my mind, was we had a list of potential interims, whether they're retired superintendents or they're able to serve the district as the superintendent, which we got that list. My question was at the last meeting was we wanted to do the survey. As Tim said, we wanted to incorporate what the teachers feel is needed in this building. They're here every day. We are not. So we mentioned possibly getting an itemized amount from IASB to draft said survey and distribute them to who we thought we would get info from. So what I was for at that point was to spend minimal and not commit. My concern is committing to IASB when maybe in the fall or in the winter we do not need them. So I guess my question for you, Tim or Pasquale, if you know, if we vote on this and we approve it, are we committing to the $7,900 that's on that sheet?
We're committing to the service. It's contractual.
In full.
But there is no split. They do not offer the survey as a separate standalone.
So there isn't any a la carte options we
Understand.
can take,
Okay. So
which is what we addressed, what we talked about at the last meeting.
yeah, you're right. And I for me, I just, approving, when we vote to it, I know we're going to get a vote, but we may not need that service. And if we commit to it, does that mean we're paying them whether we use them or not?
Yes, it's a 50% deposit and then the balance upon X amount of days in. So it's a 50% deposit.
I understand. So if option A falls through, option B then, is that the same amount for those services for the interim? Does that contract apply for interim?
No, that takes us to, let's just say all the stars align and option A works.
Yes.
Right? We get the blessing and the contract is met. We said we were going to use Dr. Kelzal as a interim superintendent, right? And then as we were progressing, if it works out, we could look at it. But I think the option we wanted to go was come October, November, we wanted to use IASB services to start opening up the announcement that District 80 was looking for a full-time superintendent, and they would go out and create the announcement piece and then start giving us candidates for us to interview, and then we vote on who and then have the PTO and PTA assist and our teachers association.
So if we approve it tonight, we are committing to $7,900 whether we use it or not.
Yes.
Correct. But it is a safety net because keep in mind we're looking at a 1-year interim, and who's to say at the end of that first year, again, you have to work off of the what ifs. What if District 234 decides that that's not the best for their school and now they're not coming back the second year? At least this way, the process would be done. We would have the survey, we would have candidates, we would have the announcement, we can have ISB actually whittled down for our criteria. And instead of being in the situation we're currently in, we can have a basis to start those interviews as a committee of the whole and work on the process.
Okay.
And I understand money is sensitive. It's just, it's a needed safety net. Both of these districts need a tentative administration.
Okay, that's all I have.
I'm just gonna add one thing. Just be mindful that you have two different districts. Your attorney is gonna have to work with their attorney on an intergovernmental agreement, okay? So that's important because I don't know how long that's gonna take. And so you have to be mindful because your expectation is to protect this school district. That's your primary role. And so there may be language when you go to the negotiations table that attorneys may not agree to. So that's where the Board of Education is going to have to come to a consensus because it often gets missed in the conversation.
And again, this will have to be an approval from 234's board that
Correct.
Dr. Kelzal can perform this duty, and then we would have to approve. So essentially, she'll have two separate contracts is the way I would look at it.
So District
If
80,
that was the route that works out.
District 80 is first and foremost, and that's why we're on the board. But getting into what you just said, Dr. O'Malley, what are the potential penalties if we don't have a superintendent in place? We have two assistant superintendents in our district. Are they able to step into that role? Say if we're a month from finishing and finalizing a deal, if it's on the table, which is taking a little bit longer.
You have to have on record a superintendent for Northern School District 80, period.
And-
So you could, to answer your question, one approach you can do is you can do a at-will agreement with a person who has a certification, assuming that the certification is up to date and they've met all the expectations. You can do a monthly, you can do over a 2-month period of time. You could even choose to assign the individual to that role as a Board of Education, assuming that you have come to an agreement with that individual too.
Are the certifications different from an assistant superintendent to a superintendent? Are they different?
Superintendent, you have to have the superintendent certification period.
So our two assistant superintendents, do they have that in case we need them to step in for an interim? For a month or so?
My understanding is one of them does have it.
Okay.
I have not looked at their certification. I've just been told they have that. We'd have to actually go into Ellis and we'd have to actually verify that. If
Okay.
you want me to verify that, I'd be more than happy to do that.
Yeah, I'd love for you to. Thank you. And that's it for me for discussion.
I have a question. Is there a timeline in regards to committing to the service? Do we have to vote on it today? Because if we do agree, what would they do to start the process?
We don't have to agree to it today. It's time. Again, this is by July 1st, so if something falls through, and one of the things, and I believe it was the second meeting, was getting input with all the changes going on, is getting input from those stakeholders. And this is something that once it's signed and that deposit check goes through, they send us a copy of the survey. We can tweak questions or say we want this, we don't want this, and this is prepared, ready to go out to start this process now because we're so far in. And typically, I know Pasquale and Mike can talk more. I haven't gone through hiring a superintendent and gone through the interviews. I've heard plenty from board members the past 2 years about how that process goes and how long it is and extra days, extra hours. And again, coming down with the committee, and this is where I'm really pushing for this, is even though the committee's had 3 meetings, we don't even have a definitive description of the full requirements of what we're looking for District 80. So we don't even know the position yet.